Honorable members, I think we are now running late, and we cannot run late while we are in the meeting. I am sure all of the members are in the meeting except the Honorable Member Matulelo. I don't see her. But anyhow, we must start with our meeting. I want to declare this meeting officially opened, and also to welcome all the honorable members who managed to come to the meeting, and most to welcome our Honorable Emma. We've been with you over the virtual meeting. We've been hearing about your apology way back before you start attending the meeting, and we thank God that you are healed and you are fresh and you are beautiful and you are here. So we are looking forward to work with you. Thank you very much. On that note, I will switch straight to the purpose of the meeting. Honorable members will notice that we worked over all this item of today. We even went to an extent of going to debate the report in the House, and we were advised to work out the report again when the report was being brought back to the Portfolio Committee, and that is why we are here, and that is the purpose of the day today. So I am going to request that we deal with it in a relaxed manner, because indeed we are working for or representing the people that send us to Parliament, and we need to put their interests at heart. So on that note, I'll request the Secretary to take us to item number 2 that deals with the apologies. Over to you, Secretary.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members. Good morning. Special welcome to Honorable Powell. Since it's the first time that we meet here physically, and also extended a word of bereavement on behalf of the committee to Nkosi Tuli. We learned that you had a bereavement, and then the committee did it was reported, and the committee acknowledged that. So welcoming you back. Chairperson, on that note, we are only having one apology. That is from Honorable Singh, who is an alternate for Democratic Alliance. She's an alternate in the committee. So that's the only apology that we have received. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other apology, honorable members? From our side, we have received an apology from Honorable Matsulo Molotsane. She's committed. She won't be able to attend the meeting. If ever it did not reach the Secretary, please allow us to apologize on her behalf. You will note the apology. Yes. Thank you very much. We have noted the apology of Honorable Singh. On that note, we are going forward. We are going to consider and adopt the meeting agenda. Can I see by a show of hand? Honorable Kruka.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move that we adopt the agenda as presented to us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kruka. Honorable Kruka has moved that we consider and adopt the agenda as presented to us. Can I check if ever we have any? Yes, Honorable Bilankulu.
Thank you very much, Chair, and good morning, everyone. I second the move by Honorable Kruger.
Thank you very much. Honorable Bilankulu has seconded the move by the Honorable Kruger. We are moving forward. We are now on the main item. I am going to request our content advisor to table the draft report, or the second draft report, of the appointment of Ombudsperson for the National Office of Small Enterprise Ombudsman. So what I'm going to do is that this is the only item on our agenda. We are going to relax and allow the content advisor to do the presentation. I'm going to try to be fair in such a way that as he'll be going through the report, if ever the honorable members feel that they can stop the content advisor and ask question, we will do that, so that at the end of the day, no one should end up forgetting whatever he or she would want to raise with regard to our report. So content advisor, as you'll be reading, you will try to pause and check on the chair if ever there's a hand, and then we'll continue like that up until we arrive at the end of the report. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Morning to you. Morning, honorable members. Morning, colleagues from the Parliament and from the Department. Chair, as we have correctly pointed out, this is a reconsideration of the report that was done by this committee some time back. It went to the House, then there was a recommendation or suggestion that it should be brought back in order for the committee members to reach a consensus on particular issues that perhaps I will highlight as I go through this particular report. It's a 16-page report, honorable members. On the first page, it's just the title of the report itself, which is the report of the Portfolio Committee on Small Business Development on the appointment of the Small Enterprise Ombud. It's dated today's date. The first section of the report, honorable members, speaks to the introduction, where we indicate that following the signing of the National Small Enterprise Amendment Act by the President on July 18, 2024, the process of appointing the Ombud effectively started. This particular legislation, honorable members, is the amendment of the National Small Enterprise Act 102 of 1996, which is the principal act. There have been amendments in between, but the principal act that we always mention or refer to would be the Act 102 of 1996. The Act establishes the new Office of the Small Enterprise Ombud Service to address complaints by small enterprises. The objective really is to create an equitable trading environment for small businesses by providing affordable and effective access to justice, as well as to enable the Minister of Small Business Development to designate certain actions that impact small businesses as unfair trading practices. The head of the office is the Ombud, whose recruitment, selection, and appointment process are provided for in Section 17F of the Act, the National Small Enterprise Amendment Act. This individual is the highest ranking official with untainted track record of exemplary corporate governance. The Act then provides that the Minister must appoint the Ombud based on a recommendation from the National Assembly following a transparent process as outlined in the legislation.
My apologies, sir, for disturbance. Honorable Matulelo has just forwarded a note of apology that she's been delayed. She's attending the doctor. After that, she'll then come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson. The Act provides that the Minister must appoint the Ombud based on a recommendation from the National Assembly following a transparent process. As I've said, this is outlined in the legislation. The appointment process involves nomination from the public, shortlisting of candidates, interviews, and deliberations by the National Assembly, leading to a final recommendation to the Minister. That is where we are now. However, this is just to alert again members of the committee, because some of you were not intimately involved with the process of developing this particular legislation, that with respect to the appointment of the Deputy Ombud, Section 17F, subsection 3, enables the Minister to exclusively appoint a suitable candidate, provided that the individual has legal training and appropriate experience, and who possesses knowledge of small enterprise, trade, industry, finance, or the economy. It's just to alert members that unlike the process that we are currently engaging in, the appointment of the deputy ombuds follows a slightly different process than the one that we are following now. The task of the committee is to thus assess potential ombud candidates and submit recommendations to the National Assembly, which will subsequently deliberate on the suggested candidates. If the House concurs with the committee, the designated candidates will then be forwarded to the Minister for final consideration and appointment. This approach, honorable members, we say, it promotes impartiality, it promotes objectivity and consistency in the selection of public officials with ultimate goal of identifying the best candidate for the position. Honorable members, I thought, like we did the last time, one may just go through the background of this entire process, starting from the actual legislation itself right up to the point where we are. The Minister of Small Business Development introduced the legislation or the bill to Parliament. That was in 29 June 2023 under the joint rules of Parliament, particularly Rule 159, subsection 1A and B. The bill was given the green light by the Cabinet for introduction to Parliament on the 7th of June 2023. The notice and an explanatory summary of the bill were published in the Government Gazette as required by rules of the National Assembly, in particular Section 276, subsection B and subsection C, on 12 June 2023. Accordingly, the Parliament was satisfied with that the Department had adhered or it has followed all the processes, fundamental prescripts of tabling the bill before it. Hence, it was accepted by Parliament. The Portfolio Committee on Small Business Development conducted public hearings across the nation on the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill from 26 October 2023 to 26 October 2023 to 23 November 2023. These public hearings were aimed at gathering public input on the proposed amendments to the National Small Enterprise Amendment Act. But before the introduction of the bill in Parliament, this background is also very important, honorable members, because some members that belongs to the National Assembly are not members of this particular committee. So they may therefore not have intimate knowledge of what the processes are, because some are aware that there was a process that was followed by this committee during the 6th Parliament. So this is just to give a background for the benefit of the members and those who are not part of this committee. Before the introduction of the bill in Parliament, this committee had resolved on 7 September 2022 to initiate the committee bill in order to amend the same act. On 22 February 2023, a memorandum was submitted to the Speaker in accordance with the National Assembly rule, in particular 273, subsection 1, to seek permission from the House to institute and introduce the bill. On 2 May 2023, the National Assembly considered and granted permission to the committee, in accordance with Rule 273, subsection 3, to proceed with the legislative amendment. However, after the Minister introduced the National Small Enterprise Amendment Bill in Parliament, the committee had to decide whether to proceed with its own committee bill or to allow the executive bill to pass. It then voted to allow the executive bill to go through on condition that the contents of the committee bill would be incorporated or subsumed into the executive bill. The Speaker of Parliament was duly notified of the committee decision. The executive bill was then introduced in the National Assembly as an ordinary bill that has no bearing on the provinces. In other words, it was a Section 75 bill. It was subsequently referred to this committee and the joint tagging mechanism, colloquially known as the JTM, for further processing. It, however, in terms of the joint rule 160, subsection 4, found that the bill substantially impacts on the interest, concerns, and capacities of provinces, as it proposes a new system where certain trade practices are or and may still be declared prohibited trade practices within the small enterprise sector. The JTM decided that the bill has implications for Schedule 4 of the Constitution, specifically with the functional area of trade. where the national and provincial governments have concurrent legislative competency. This means the bill could affect the provinces and require a different process, like being classified as Section 76 bill, which involves the NCOP, a procedure that this committee saw through to completion. The bill proposes amendments to the National Small Enterprise Act, I've already said that, as a means to provide for the establishment and registration of the Small Enterprise Development, that is SETFA, in line with the Companies Act. It also proposes the disestablishment of the Cooperative Banks Development Agency, as well as the incorporation of SEDA and SEFA into a single entity. SEDA and SEFA were agencies of the Department of Small Business Development, incorporated in terms of the Companies Act and Public Finance Management Act, while the CBDA was a statutory agency registered as a public entity in line with Section 3, subsection A of the Public Finance Management Act. It was an entity of the National Treasury, honorable members. The objective of the amendment has been accomplished with 3 agencies having been merged into a single agency, which is now SEDFA. The second most important aspect of the bill was the creation of the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombud. This is just a background, honorable members, to say what gave rise to the establishment of this particular office. I'm not going to go through that paragraph. The next paragraph, the Portfolio Committee on Small Business Development recognized the lacuna and determined that policy responses were necessary to address some of the challenges that were being reported to this Portfolio Committee, which are still being reported, by the way, to this Portfolio Committee. The 2 proposals, one was the creation of a one-stop shop, and the other one was the creation of a small enterprise tribunal, are long outstanding recommendations of the committee since during the 5th Parliament, after the committee had observed that over a period of time, that small enterprises were getting the short end of the stick, both from the private sector. This is very important, honorable members, because the perception being created out there is that it's only the public sector that is the culprit in terms of, straining small enterprises, private sector, and state organs. The appointment of the Ombud to thoroughly investigate and weed out these inefficiencies marks a significant step forward for Parliament in fulfilling its constitutional responsibility of preserving individuals' rights and liberties, thereby contributing to administrative justice and constitutional democracy. The committee is content and satisfied with the way this entire process has progressed. Chair, I'm not seeing any hand. I will then continue. Then
Yeah,
section
no, no,
3
I thought maybe, I don't know, we need to check with the honorable members. You're welcome, honorable member from the MK party. I want to check because we requested that as he continues to read, honorable members, if they have something to raise, they must then raise their hand. So if there's no hand, it means indeed the committee was satisfied. They agree. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You may continue, sir.
Chair, I will then move to section 3 of the report, which highlight the committee process and the procedure that we followed in terms of reaching a stage at where now we are deliberating on this report. Chair, following the letter from the Minister of Small Business Development to the Speaker of Parliament, the letter is dated 29 August 2024. In that letter, the Minister is requesting the National Assembly to initiate a process for nomination and shortlisting of candidates for appointment as Ombud for the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombud. The Speaker subsequently referred the matter to the Portfolio Committee, this Portfolio Committee on Small Business Development. The ATC number there, honorable members, it's number 62 2024. It's dated 17 October 2024. These records, honorable members, are very important, as part of demonstrating that a thorough process was followed to reach a stage where this committee is for consideration and reporting. Then, upon receipt of the communique from the Speaker the committee worked diligently to ensure that the process was completed within a reasonable time frame. To craft a realistic project planning, the committee secretariat briefed members of the committee that at a higher level, the entire process would likely be finalized within 4 months or 120 days, and it encompassed the following strategic objectives. One, the strategic objective number one would be the nomination and application, where the public is invited to nominate suitable candidates or apply for the position of the ombuds. The process would be handled through an online nomination system accessible on the parliamentary website. We tick this process was followed to the T. The second process, honorable members, was the shortlisting. The National Assembly develops a short list of candidates, and these individuals are subject to pre-employment screening and verification of qualifications by the Parliament Human Resource Unit. We tick this process was followed to the T. Although we highlight, honorable members, towards the middle of the report that this process, it only involves the HR process. It doesn't necessarily involve the vetting now of the candidates by the State Security Agency, which is usually the process that this government follows. All candidates at a senior management level in government are appointed on condition that once they go through that particular process, the results must come back positive. So it's always subject to. So this process as well followed that particular principle, honorable members. Then the next strategic objectives are the interviews. The portfolio committee conducts interviews of shortlisted candidates. We did this particular process, honorable members. The recommendation, that is where we are. Once we are done with the interviews, the portfolio committee recommends a preferred order of candidates to the National Assembly and the minister. I think that's a stage now at which this committee is in terms of the process. Then the appointment, it's a prerogative of the Minister of Small Business Development to appoint an ombud who will serve for a term of 5 years, potentially renewable for 1 more term. Then, in terms of the planning process, honorable members, which is 3.1, the planning process, it began in earnest on the 13th of November 2024. The committee met to discuss the process that would ensue. The parliamentary legal advisor was also invited to provide a briefing on the legal aspects of the appointment. The legal advisor guided the committee members to say that the procedure for appointing the ombuds was dictated by Section 17, subsection F of the Act, which outlined 3 key steps. The first one being the nomination, the second one being the shortlisting by the National Assembly, and the third one being the appointment by the minister. She recommended, the legal advisor, she recommended that there should be a clear nominating process. The committee would carry out the shortlisting process, screen candidates, and conduct interviews. The House would then review and approve the recommended nominees. The committee was further advised that it has the discretion to select the number of candidates to present to the minister. It can be 2, it can be 3, or it can be 4. As we know, in this case, the committee selected 4. The committee was further advised that it has the discretion to select the number of candidates to present to the minister. She concluded her briefing by highlighting the importance of transparency throughout the process. The committee decided that there was an urgent need for this office and that the process should begin as soon as feasible. In the main, the committee agreed on the following draft procedures and steps to be followed for the appointment. So this is just a skeleton, honorable members, or a project plan that was developed by the Secretariat, to indicate to the members of the committee the process that we will follow. There was a briefing by the legal advisor, which took 1 day. There was also a consideration and adoption of the program for the appointment of the ombud. This was done by the committee secretary and the content advisor. There was a preparation for an advert, translation, sourcing of quotes, applying for approval. These are just logistics, honorable members, that we went through. I'm not going to go through each one of them. Then On 20 November, the committee secretariat presented a detailed project plan to the committee, project mapping with indicative timelines to be followed for processing the appointment, which included the adoption of the program, the call for nominations through advertisement in the mainstream media, right up to the shortlisting, interviews, and selection of candidates. The draft procedure also included a suggested timeframes that would see the process start as early as 2025. You will recall, honorable members, that we had an option of putting out an advertisement during the December, January holidays, but there was a decision by this committee to say, rather let us start the process in February. By then, everyone would have came back from holidays. Considering the complexities involved in the process, the committee secretariat advised that the advertisement be released in the new year rather than during holidays to ensure a transparent recruitment process. The committee was further informed that the support staff have prepared relevant documentation in line with Section 17 of the Act on the nomination of an ombudsperson. Once nominated, the nominee will sign the letter accepting the nomination. Will sign the letter accepting the nomination. The nomination and acceptance forms were then forwarded to the committee for adoption. The committee members were given access to the project plan guideline, which is displayed below under Table 3. It provides a schedule or summary of activities to be performed until the report of the committee is confirmed on 23 April. Again, honorable members, Table 3, it's just the project plan for the appointment of the Ombud, dating 13 November to 23 April 2025. I'm not going to go through it. On 5 March 2025, a week after the closing date, the committee reconvened to review, among other things, the manner of shortlisting, as well as the tabling, presentation, and consideration of the criteria. The members also had to decide whether they should oversee the screening of candidates or if it should drive both the screening apps and subsequent shortlisting processes. A list of 26 applicants with short resumes was presented to the committee for its consideration. The committee resolved that the Secretariat should form the first layer of screening, with priority being given to candidates with legal qualifications and relevant experience. Moreover, it was agreed that choosing how many applicants to shortlist would be akin to placing the organ before the horse. A shortlist of all qualified applicants should be created for interviews. There was consensus in the committee about conducting all interviews on Wednesday, 27 March 2025, without the option of a hybrid system. But this date was later revised to 1 April 2025 due to a scheduled oversight visit to Limpopo province. The committee decided to hold a follow-up meeting on 7 March 2025. The aim of this meeting was to finalize the planning and shortlisting of candidates. The meeting was held virtually via a Zoom platform. Only one of the 26 submissions received. In other words, the entire applications were 26. Submissions received, nominated herself, and she was not selected for further consideration. A total of 8 applicants were selected for further consideration. The primary criteria for shortlisting was that all applicants should have the necessary legal qualifications and experience. During the interviews, the question about relevant experience would also be taken into consideration. The members decided that all shortlisted candidates or applicants would be interviewed, all 8 shortlisted applicants. It was reaffirmed in this meeting that all interviews would be conducted in person in Parliament. In other words, there won't be any option for an online interview. The committee decided that only permanent members would be eligible to pose questions, and that alternate members may sponsor full-time members with questions to ask. At the conclusion of this process, the final list would then be scrutinized to find suitable candidates to be recommended to the National Assembly and the Minister. Now, we zoom into the public participation process, honorable members, that was followed in terms of identifying potential candidates. It's outlined in the Constitution of the country 1996, which underscores the importance of public participation process as a cornerstone of a democratic government that requires consultation with the public before decisions are made. It's just a background of the public participation, honorable members, on this first para. I'm not going to go through it, but I'm going to touch on what we did as this committee. The public was invited to propose individuals with impeccable credentials to be nominated to serve as Ombud. Parliament invited applications and nominations through advertisements in local, regional, and national newspapers, as well as the Parliament's website. The advertisement was published on the 1st of February 2025, with the deadline for the submission of applications set for 28 February 2025. All applications were conducted online, whereby applicants completed a Google form and submitted the required documentation. All applicants, as part of the application process, were expected to submit a summary of their curriculum vitae. All the information is contained in the application form. The summary of CVs and supporting documentation were stored online on an internal recording platform of Parliament, which was accessible only to the committee members and the support staff. Again, the committee is confident that it cautiously executed this responsibility with deep sense of thoroughness, open communication, and transparency. Then on 3.3, it's just the procedure that we followed in terms of shortlisting criteria and process. The minimum requirements to serve as Ombud, again, it's outlined in Section 17F of the National Small Enterprise Amendment Act. The nominees should be a South African resident or ordinarily resident of South Africa, and, open quotes, have legal training and appropriate experience and possess knowledge of small enterprise, trade, industry, finance, or the economy, close quote. Section 17D, subsection 4, further provides that, open quote, the provisions of the Public Finance Management Act apply to the office, close quote. The Public Finance Management Act establishes a framework for managing financial resources, including budgeting, accounting, and cash management. While Section D, subsection 5, subsection B, underscores the importance of Article 195 of the Constitution. The Article 195 of the Constitution emphasizes the significance of professional ethics, efficient resource management, and a development-oriented approach. Furthermore, it highlights the need for impartiality, responsiveness to people's needs, accountability, and transparency in public administration. These are the key attributes, honorable members, for this particular position, which I thought we should also bring into this particular report. As a result, in addition to the criteria outlined in Clause 17F of the Act, the aforesaid reflections were taken into consideration when the shortlisting process was completed. As earlier indicated, the committee met on the 5th of March 2025 to conduct shortlisting for interviews. A total of 8 candidates, as outlined in Table 4 below, were selected to advance to the next phase of the recruitment process. The curriculum vitae were well written, they were informative, and potentially relevant to the job requirements. In other words, they met the minimum basic criteria for the position. The committee also ensured that shortlisted candidates reflect the demographic and geographical spread of the Republic. Honorable members, Table 4, it's a list of shortlisted candidates that were interviewed by this committee. I am not going to go through Table 4, honorable members. Then on 3.4, again, it's just to highlight that now, in terms of the verification that was followed by Parliament, this is what the Parliament did. There is an ethical expectation that the person who is finally chosen to hold the position of Ombud must meet the fit and proper requirement. Candidates were encouraged to include any relevant information in their application that would influence Parliament or the minister's decision to appoint them, particularly if it had to do with their credentials, employment experience, or reasons for leaving prior employers. The committee requested assistance from Parliament HR section in conducting academic verification checks of the domestic qualifications. The nomination form clearly indicate as well that all shortlisted candidates would be subjected to a vetting process prior to selection to safeguard the integrity of the process. The Human Resource Unit of Parliament confirmed the academic qualifications of all 8 candidates. This implies that the candidates met the required academic standards for the role they were being considered for. However, at this stage, Parliament did not enlist the services of the State Security Agency to conduct due diligence on each candidate in order to obtain security clearance, which is a formal process that assesses an individual's suitability to access classified information or work in a secure environment. Also, the Parliament did not enroll the services of an external service provider to conduct credit checks and verification of citizenship on each candidate. However, some candidates willingly heeded Parliament's request by releasing certain material information to assist the committee in making an informed decision, while others did not. This information is very important, honorable members, to go through to the report, because when we say we did not conduct these verifications, it basically say it then becomes the responsibility of the minister to ensure that these particular processes are carried out once a particular person or individual is appointed. Then on 3.5, interview guidelines and process that we followed. To ensure a fair interview process, the committee adopted interview guidelines that focus on consistent assessment, structured questioning, and objective evaluation. This was to ensure that the interview process is within the ambit of the legislation. The interview questions were designed to test the candidate's potential and capability using a number of indices, such as the non-scoring question, where candidates were invited to provide a brief overview of their experience and qualifications for the position they applied for, separation of powers doctrine in relation to the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombud Service, strategic planning and systems development, knowledge of the legislation, including in particular the alternative dispute resolution mechanism, examples of unfair trading practices, experience in conflict and dispute resolution, as well as knowledge of the Public Finance Management Act in relation to concerns around contracting, procurement, and payment of service providers within 30 days. Honorable members, a set of 11 questions were crafted, and each candidate was allocated 5 minutes to respond to a question. In addition, any member could ask a follow-up question to seek further clarity from a candidate. This was the process, honorable members, that we followed in terms of conducting the actual interviews now for the candidates that had been shortlisted. Then on section 4, we speak of the composition of the interview panel. The assessment panel consisted of 11 members of the committee. In table 2, we highlight who those members are and the political parties they represent. Due to ill health, Honorable Dean Jaba, a member of the Umkhonto Wesizwe Party, opted out of the interview. You will recall, honorable members, that there was an apology.
Before you
Honorable
continue,
Jaba. Thanks, Chair.
my apology. We are being joined by the guests, so I'm going to request the secretary to introduce them to us so that the members are not being taken by surprise. Over to you, secretary.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable members, the Parliament has got a program of the graduates, of capacitating them. They've been taken by Parliament. I can't remember the whole number, but they are just being taken by Parliament to capacitate them on how Parliament works, and I think that was done through applications from different institutions and different as individuals. So now these one are deployed in committees. So theirs is to come or visit committees and then observe how committees work and how committees do their work. So now they are here just for observation, looking at how the committee works.
Okay, thank you very much, Secretary. I see a hand from the Honorable Kruka and Honorable Carol Mafagani in that order.
Madam Chair, yes, and very welcome to our learners. They're most probably on a learnership. Maybe the very first lesson in life must be they must check time management, and they must check when is this meeting started so that they here on time. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Mafagani.
Thank you, Chair. I am covered by the Honorable. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you want to respond?
Okay, thank you, Chair, and thank you, Honorable. They were on time. The only thing is that they went to other two committees only to find out they did not have a space. Their rooms were full. So now, when they went back to the office, they were told that no, there is a committee in 514 which has got a space. So hence they are coming. Hence they've just arrived. So maybe if they can introduce themselves with their names, it will be fine.
Okay, thank you very much for that response, Secretary. I'm sure you're not just trying to speak for them because they are our kids. And they have heard you, Honorable Kruka. I'm sure in other committees they will arrive on time. Can I request that you introduce yourselves before we welcome you officially?
Thank you very much, Chair. Our apologies for entering in very late. We really do apologize for the inconvenience that we have caused, and thank you for the warm welcome. My name is Zanda Magida, and I'm with my colleagues Melissa Khaba, Neon Tabane, and Mr. Katlejo Rensburg, and we form part of the committee section. We are the 4 graduates that have been allocated to this section of Parliament, and we look forward to observing this committee sitting. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You're welcome. You may continue, sir.
Thank you, Chairperson. Welcome, colleagues. Chair, we're almost done. So on Section 4, honourable members, it's just a reminder in terms of the composition of the interview panel, taking into account an earlier committee decision that had said only full-time members, will actually interview candidates and score candidates. So in terms of the attendance, Chairperson was there, Honourable Malimanja was there, Honourable Sapo, Honourable Pilankulu, and Honourable Molotsane from the African National Congress. From the DA, Honourable Msiza, Honourable Kruka was there, Honourable Singh. From the MK, Honourable Mafagane was there. From the EFF, Honourable Matulelo was present. From IFP, Inkosi Bilu Tuli was also in attendance. And from Build One South Africa, Honourable NC Hlazo Webster was also in attendance. Then in terms of the interview process, honourable members, in line with an earlier decision of the committee, as I've said, all interviews were held in one day. The interview process began with a closed meeting of the committee members only, where the committee secretariat briefed members on interview protocols and scoring metrics. These protocols define the interview process, including the questions asked, criteria for evaluation, and a scoring method to rate each candidate's responses. The interview scoring sheet for each candidate was provided to all the panel members to score the interviewees. The scoring sheet presented to the interview panel includes additional instructions such as the need that each member to complete a separate scoring sheet for each candidate. Each member was given a single question to ask the candidates. This ensures that each panel member delivers an independent assessment which might be useful when making a collective decision about candidates. A total of 8 in-person interviews were conducted. All candidates were assessed using a structured interview approach, meaning they were all asked the same standardized questions in the same order, and their responses were evaluated against the same predefined criteria. This consistent and objective methodology helps ensure fairness and allows for easier comparison of candidates' suitability for the role. Honorable Singh raised 2 objections when the committee considered its report, including her disagreement with a follow-up question regarding the Ombuds's involvement in mobilizing finance for small enterprises, a follow-up question that she felt was irrelevant for the position being interviewed for. She also brought up the committee's previous ruling that alternate members would not be permitted to question candidates directly. This was in relation to Honorable Molotsane being the active participant in the interviews. The committee acknowledged that the panelist objection would most likely need to be addressed and reviewed by the other panelist or the chairperson in order to establish a consensus to resolve the matter. After a marathon session that began at 9:30 a.m. in the morning and concluded in the evening at 7 p.m. in the afternoon, the panelists were content with the way the interviews were conducted and that the candidates were treated fairly. There was no complaint, honorable members, from any candidate that we interviewed who said maybe there was a bias of whatsoever. All the candidates were treated fairly. Then on section 6, recommended candidates. On 2 April, that was now
Chair.
the following day.
Thank you very much. Please hold.
At what time will we get chance to deal with question? Because at the very same 5, I wanted clarity so that I don't get lost. If you,
Thank you very much. That's what we have requested from the beginning, that whenever you see there's something that you need to talk to, raise your hand and then the content advisor will stop. Let me allow you the opportunity, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, thanks. Content advisor, when we, point number 4, when you're dealing with the member, you gave us the list of the member and you came down and it only came here where Ms. Sin was questioning the involvement of alternate member from the ANC. The question is, who invited this and who gave them their their scoring sheet with their name, with their names? Because what made those happen is that there was a scoring sheet with the name of Moletsana and he was not supposed to be that way.
I won't recall exactly if the scoring sheets had names of members. And remember, what we agreed with Committee Secretary back then, if you recall, there was a decision that we will seek further information as to whether Honorable Molotsane is eligible to attend or not. We did that, hence we came back and advised members of the committee that we have consulted, we've been informed that the participation, since it involves scoring, scoring is tantamount to voting. Therefore, we then going back to the default position of the committee that says alternate members may not score candidates. I think the issue, the clarity that we sought was around the scoring vis-a-vis the voting. Then we learned that no, scoring is tantamount or is equivalent to voting, so they can't.
I'm saying this, Chair, because if we are to indeed correct these things, we don't want our alternate member to feel like they're inferior to the process itself. But at the very time, it will be advisable that the Secretariat, they do it in a manner that it must not become a problem to us when we are inside. For a mere fact that the person is here, has arrived, then we start to say it can be in and out. It is where actually I think we have messed the whole process. And I therefore want to suggest that in future that must not happen. Because it kept coming that I did not invite myself to here. Then when we are at the point, as the members, the question will be, are you all of you did not see what you wrote at point number 3.1, if you come here where it says only permanent member should do this. Now, only permanent member, but yet it's not a permanent member, is in there. So I'm just saying such actually was a oversight and that must really be avoided at all cost. No, I just wanted to light that thing.
Thank you very much. I see the hand of Honorable Kruger, and then you'll come in, Secretary.
Yes, ma'am. It's just a question to clarify something. I don't know, and you must help me, and King and everybody must help me. I don't know if somebody from a different party can stand in for me if I'm absent from this committee. I think alternates are only there if somebody from the party is not there. So from the beginning, I mean, it seems like the alternate of the ANC standing in for the MK member.
That's correct.
And I think from that minute, it was not parliamentary, according to me, but I can be wrong, and that's why I'm asking for clarification.
Thank you very much. Actually, Honorable Member, you are correct. That is why at the end of the day, we did remove everything that was attached to the alternate member from the ANC. I think you are very correct. It's just that from the beginning of the meeting, all of us were relaxed. We didn't check on that, including our secretariat and the content advisor and even our researcher. All of us were here in this meeting, but we looked relaxed. That is why at the end of the day, we arrived at that discussion and we ended up removing everything. Thank you so much, King.
Thank you, Chair. Indeed, you have covered, Chair. The thing is, maybe we have to be more clear about how alternate works. That was explained before we start everything, and it was explained when we're deliberating. And then an alternate is being deployed. Yeah, let me put it this way. An alternate is being deployed by the political party, in as much as members are being deployed by political parties to form, to be in the part of the particular committee. So now, if an alternate is deployed by the political party, that alternate cannot be an alternate of the other political party. I think I'm clear. Yes, it was like that. Then, on the question, when we are preparing for every meeting, Honorable Chair, we prepare documents for all members that have been 80 seat for that particular committee. For example, MK has deployed 2 alternate members. Hence, they are in a group of the chat group of the small business development. So when doing preparations for a meeting, they all get that communication. And we plan involving all of them.
Including the alternates.
Including the alternate. Because we do not know what will happen in the meeting. The main objective of alternate is that the committee must continue doing its work, being determined by the formation of the quorum, so that it can continue its work. So when we are doing preparation, we do for all members. We don't ask whether the alternate will be there or anyone will get sick. Like, for example, today, Honorable Matulelo has indicated that she's in the doctor's rooms. So hence, in all the communication that we send out, we send it out to all members of the committee that have been 80 seat, whether a full member and alternate member. So is then that when now the committee is sitting, has to take a decision, is then that members must be aware that as an alternate, and we are all having a full complement of members, then an alternate does not take a decision. So now, which means then that when we're preparing for the forms, we were including all members. The only oversight that happened is that when we saw that the ANC has got all their members, then the alternate of the ANC was not supposed to make question. But that was discussed, and then a resolution was taken that her involvement should be taken off. So from now henceforth, I think it's clear that alternate members, like Rev is an alternate member of MK. He can participate in deliberations, but when we say now we are voting, he cannot participate if Mam Chaba or Honorable Mafakane is here. If they're outside, then he can take a decision. Like DA, Honorable Singh, they've got she's now an alternate member. If she was here, she was going to participate on deliberations, but when taking a decision, she was not going to participate. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I see the hand of Honorable Mafagan. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chairperson. Just on a point of clarity, on that day, Honorable Manchaba was sick. She was off sick. And the MK party did not deploy an alternate. So to say that Matulo was a alternate of MK party, that is not correct. She was not our alternate. Our member was ill, and I was alone representing MK on that day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is why from the beginning I tried to clarify that one, Honorable Mafagani, but thank you for bringing it back again. Now we all of us agree. I see honorable members are nodding their head, indicating that they are agreeing with the explanation. Thank you very much. I'm sure now the honorable member is at the back. You said is honorable? Honorable Thomas Tobaza. Okay, I'm sure now you understand why I was trying to advise in the morning. Okay, if ever we do not have any other question, we may continue. Thank you very much. And I'm happy that all of us are agreeing that even if he was in the meeting. What, do you want to say something? Okay.
Lastly, Chair, I just came. If you remember about those forms, there were names that were written that this question will be asked by this member. This question will be asked by this member. Hence, there was a name of Honorable Mlotsane. As I've indicated that we prepare for all members. So should it happen that ANC has got a full complement, then it was that name was not supposed to take place. But I'm glad that the committee took a resolution to say, because we're all there, then let's take out what has been done by an alternate, because she's an alternate of the ANC. We should have made a flaw if ever we used those scores, but we didn't use them. But in preparation, we put all those names. Thank you, Chair.
I've seen your hand. I've seen your hand. You'll be the third one, Honorable Secretary.
No, thanks.
In that order.
Thanks, Chair, and thanks, Secretary. You know, in many a case, we make mistake by over here. You came exactly to my point, where a name was attached. And it's what I was saying, this must be prevented, especially if we go there, because if you put a name of alternate, we are in this trouble because there was a name attached. So I have no problem of dishing out the program and other informations. But for the mere fact that there was a name, it created a lot of problems. That is what I was sticking on it, not any other thing. And that is where we made mistakes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Malmacha. Before I go to the Honorable Kruka, I want to correct you some. You said we are in this trouble. We were in that trouble, and the trouble was discussed and resolved. So
No, it's fine. I'm fine with that.
thank you, sir.
statement.
Over to you.
Ma'am, just another clarity. The Reverend now, because MK is only one member and they're supposed to be two permanent members, am I right? So is the Reverend then the alternate that can vote if we should vote today?
Ma'am Chaba is here. Mama was seated there, and we did not receive her apology. So
Can I check something? Is he a referent?
Oh,
Is he a referent?
oh, yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm covered.
okay.
Is he a referent? So we. Eh.
It's my English. I told you a long
Reverend.
time, Madam Chair. I've
Oh, I
told you a
thought
long
it's a
time.
bishop, like referent.
bishop.
That's why I.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to be sure.
Baba, are you a pastor? Oh, thank you very much. Okay. No, it's cleared. Okay. So, is there any other hand? Honorable Sapo, did you speak? Over to you, ma. And then Honorable Kate will follow.
Yes, Chair. Good morning to you and everyone in the meeting. No, Chair, I want us to resolve this in totality so that we don't get back to it later on. When you go to page 8, the last 4 sentences on the first paragraph, it says the committee decided that only permanent members would be eligible to pose question, and alternate may sponsor a full-time member with questions to ask. Now, I want us to solve this thing in its totality because we were in agreement that we are going to put the entire file aside, of which we did. But we cannot then run away from the fact that then the member in question posed a question. And that particular question contributes to the scores of the entire candidates. How do we resolve that? I'm raising this, Chair, because on a later stage, even though this thing was rectified, we seem to be discussing it even today. What do we do about that particular question that was posed by that particular member, which contributed to the entire work? Are we then now saying, in terms of remedying the process, we remove that question as part of the file, or the scores of every candidate, so that if we asked, I think there were 11 questions, we then moved to 10 to remove the participation of that member in totality, because we are not necessarily removing it in totality. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Sapo. I want to check if ever the honorable members have seen the page that you were referring to. Page 8.
Yes, it's page 8, Chair.
Paragraph.
The first paragraph
Towards the end.
Towards the end. It's the last 4 sentences.
Mm-hmm. There is a question, honorable members. Let's deal with it. Thank you, Honorable Sapo. Honorable Kruka.
Madam Chair, and that is a problem. And we must be then in the future, and we must learn lessons from this. We must make 100% sure that there's a quorum, number 1, at each meeting when we vote or when we don't vote, so that the decisions that's making by this committee are not questionable. And number 2, we need in a case like this, because of course it did have a influence on the score, because there was a question asked and I scored and every other member scored the applicant according to that question. So it is a problem, but we need to learn a lesson from this. So King, our secretary, must make 100% sure that those that partake in the meeting are members and are legible to vote and to make decisions and whatever. So I think we must just be very careful in the future.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Sapo, for raising that question. Thank you very much for your response. But I would want to say the questions that we have agreed upon was 11. Even if we would have agreed about 20 or 30 questions, would still allow the participant to respond to those questions. But now, I won't change my decision or my position of saying we talked through this issue. That is why we ended up removing the whole marks that was allocated by the Honorable Member Matsulo, who was an alternate. So now we're just refreshing our mind for the future. But we did talk to the issue and it was resolved. I don't think a number of questions can really take us from pillar to post. I've seen other hands, unless if it's a follow-up on this one. Can we allow them? It's a follow-up. Okay, over to you.
Madam Chair, it's not as such as the number of questions. You must remember, when I ask a question, I ask it in a certain way, you know, with all my language problems and what have you. And then the applicant or the interviewee, he or she answered what he hear from me. Now, and then the rest of the panel score what they hear from the interview. And that's her issue. So it could have a influence on the outcome of scoring. Because as we say, that's why we ask the panel to ask each person ask a question or a few questions so that it can be diverse, and this could be a problem.
Very much, sir. Honorable Vilankulu.
No, thank you very much, Chair. I wanted to talk about the issue of naming of documents. That in future it means that our secretariat must make sure that it's only permanent members that their documents are attached or their names are attached to the documents. Only permanent members. If there is a situation where a permanent member is absent, that's where they will get in to say, Honorable Bilankulu is not around today, therefore, Honorable Malimacha is going to replace, as an alternate from the African National Congress, is going to replace Honorable Bilankulu. Because this thing of attaching names, it means that if now all alternates are here, we may end up having 20 or 18 members. And then situation like this may come back again. But if we do have those, I think it was going to limit some of the issues that today has put us into this trouble. I just want to urge our secretariat and ourselves to have conscience on that let's, in future, let's take to permanent members. If there is a need of those other ones, then that's where we'll talk about the alternates. Because the issue is we ended up agreeing after realizing a problem. So for now, to me, I think we need to proceed because we are agreeing there was a mistake that we all realized, and we dealt with it. But for now, the question that was raised by Honorable Malmaja was to get clarity as to who made this or why our names are tied to the documents, because that's the one that led even Honorable our alternate to participate. So if the name was not there, maybe we should have seen something else and come back to our mind to say this one is an alternate, therefore she's not going to take part in interviewing. Or it's a learning curve. I think all of us, instead of the secretariat only, even us as members in future, we must learn that if you are an alternate, when it comes to voting, that person is not gonna be allowed to participate. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kate. It's a learning curve indeed, and all of us were here. Nobody fought with the idea of Molozani being the meeting. Hence, I'm saying at the end, we removed the marks. So we did not do anything with the marks, otherwise they would have influenced the position of all those candidates. Do you still have to say something, Honorable Carol?
Thank you very much, Chair. I will go with the ruling. We have removed the marks.
Thank you very much, Ma.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. So with the marks that was being allocated by Honorable Molozani, at the end of the day, the decision was that we are not going to work with whatever she was having. So we actually now we are fine.
Okay.
It's just that the honorable members are cautioning us so that next time, because there's always next time, we shouldn't repeat the same mistake.
Okay. Can I
Thank you
continue,
so
Chair?
much.
Can I?
Yes.
Okay, it's fine. Thank you. very
Remind
much,
us
Chair.
about your page.
I'm on section 6,
Okay.
recommended candidates. We are now starting on day 2, post the interviews. You remember the last time the meeting ended at 7 p.m. the day before. We are now on day 2, which is the 2nd of April 2025, where the committee convened again to deliberate on the candidates' suitability for the position, how the candidates fared in an interview, tally the results, and to effectively recommend potential candidates for consideration by the National Assembly and ultimately the Minister. During the proceedings, the participation and assessment of candidates by an alternate member was revisited. It was reasoned that it was inconsistent with an earlier decision of the committee, procedurally incorrect, and risked flouting the rules of the National Assembly. Members had no objection to a member participating in the interview process. Nonetheless, her scoring of candidates was conceived as tantamount to voting. The committee secretariat also advised that the rules allow all members of the assembly to attend meetings of the committee. Nevertheless, it was pointed out that members are eligible to vote only if they are full-time members of that particular committee. If the committee has its full complement, an alternate member can attend the meeting but not vote. In the end, all members of the committee present unanimously and amicably agreed to set aside the scoring of Honorable Molozani. The computation of scores was completed successfully. Following vigorous and robust discussions, the committee agreed to recommend the top 4 candidates based on their performance during the interviews, skills and experience, and demographic profile that is representative of the country. Members were pleased with the top 4 candidates' display of solid and clear grasp of the duties, obligations, and expectations associated with the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombuds Services. The committee, with the exception of the Democratic Alliance, decided that the candidates listed below meet the requirements to be appointed as Small Enterprise Ombuds. Then I'm not going to mention the candidates by name. Members of the Democratic Alliance wished it to be noted that their rights remained reserved and that the list of recommended candidates would still be a subject for discussion at the party caucus. Other issues considered by the committee included gender parity, youth, and people living with disabilities. Notwithstanding academic pedigree and experience of the first 4 candidates, the committee expressed concern at the lack of women and youth in that category, considering that of the 8 candidates that were interviewed, 5 were women. At the same time, the committee acknowledged that the job demands senior legal professionals with proven track record in the legal career to navigate complex and often contentious situations. This demand is fueled by the need for the Ombud to hit the ground running and to urgently resolve conflicts efficiently and effectively for the benefit of the MSME and cooperative sector. During the deliberations, a thorough assessment of the demographics of the country was considered in order to ensure that the shortlisted and recommended candidates are expressive of this inclusivity. There were no applications received from people living with disabilities. In any interview process, assessing demographics like age, gender, or race is a sensitive topic that should be approached with caution and ethical considerations. While demographics can provide valuable information for research or analysis, they should not be used to make discriminatory hiring decisions. Instead, focus should be on assessing qualifications, skills, and experience, and ensuring the interview process is fair and unbiased. The overriding principle of fairness and transparency was what guided the committee in its approach while ensuring a process built on trust and equitable outcomes as advocated in the legislation. I remember my apologies. My version is not sure.
Content advisor, that is why I requested you to come and sit here, because there is a space here for you to charge the laptop.
Now, the chairperson, there's a port that connects there. It's there, it's not here.
Oh, okay.
I think the problem there could be the plugs.
We are here the whole day.
The plugs.
Can I proceed, Chairperson? Yes. Okay, Chair. So what we did, Chair, was also to look at now the age. In terms of our analysis, we look at the age of the candidates. Then on figure 1 below, Chair, we highlight the ages of the interviewees or the people who participated in the interview process. So figure 1 below illustrate the concept of an age factor, which can be interpreted in different contexts. Chair, we're raising these things because usually you will be asked these questions. When you present these candidates, they will ask you as to where is the youth, where are the women, this and that, where are the people living with disabilities. So what we are doing here in this report, Chair, is also just to equip you with information that are not glaringly at your disposal as members of the committee. So in terms of the age, which can be interpreted, it can be interpreted in different contexts. In South Africa, age is a critical demographic factor, with youth unemployment being a major societal issue. Specifically, the unemployed rate among young people aged between 15 and 34 years is significantly higher than the national average. This highlights the urgency of addressing this issue to improve the economic prospects and overall well-being of South Africa's youth. The youngest nominated candidate is 40 years old, while the eldest is 59. Accordingly, all the recommended candidates are beyond the age of 35. Then figure 1 below, Chair, it's just the highlight. We are indicating of the 8 candidates, which one is youngest, which one was eldest. The median age.
You hold it, Papa.
It's just I'm worried, content advisor, because that exercise we have done it, and that exercise was no longer like going out and hunting. We were dealing with what was given to us. Then in case we were to put a person of age of 18 and in the 8 was not there, don't you think that as much as you said you want to empower us, we are empowering the already converted, because this is our report and we've seen that.
I'm not sure if I understand the question, Chairperson.
Will you please try to unpack your question, Honorable Malemachi? Did you understand the question? All right, over to you.
So my understanding, which might not be correct, is that you can skip this explaining you can skip that and proceed.
He's not assisting us. You wanted to understand the question. Yena is giving you advice that you skip the page. Before we skip, can we request the Honorable Malemachi to unpack his question so that all of us end up understanding?
That is the simplicity that the secretary is saying.
Oh, you're agreeing with him?
Yes, that is simple as that, to say now we are sticking on what is our own report that we have done. And you know very well that even if it can be questioned now to say, here you should have brought an 18-year person, but of the people who applied, we never had. That's nothing we could have done.
Chairperson, it has to be a view that will be shared by all the members of the committee. Because, Chair, like I said, when this committee go to National Assembly, it's not only members of this committee that will debate this report. Other members from elsewhere, like you will recall, I will indicate as we go through the report, that there were members who are not part of this committee who debated the report, and you could tell that, they are not really intimate with some of the discussions that took place at a committee level. So that's what we do. As a secretariat, we don't assume that members are all fair or are unconversant. But if the members feel that, no, this one we can skip, with pleasure, Chairperson. The next one is the issue of agenda. If the members feel that, no, we can skip this one, it's also fine. The next one is the provinces. If there's also a feeling that we can skip, it's okay. I don't have a
Sorry,
problem.
content advisor. I don't know. I would say, you become emotional because that was a question, and you quickly jumped into responding. You forgot that I'm cheering. Yes.
Apologies, Chair.
Thank you very much. So I want to check. I've seen your hand, Honorable Carol. Maybe you can assist us if ever you did understand the question. But after the clarity of Honorable Malemachi, I did understand, though I also understand the debate that is coming up with the content advisor, that when we go into the House dealing with the debate, people would want to talk to this issue of the age. But anyhow, let's hear what you say.
Thank you very much, Chair. I understand what the Honorable is saying, but I also just feel that we should go over the whole report just to satisfy ourselves that we have covered everything and we have done we've done what is right for the report. Thank you very much.
So you continue from where you were on the Ntate Gumede?
Chair, it's okay to say Honorable Gumede. There's nothing.
Oh, okay. It will be a prophecy and one day it will come true. But today you are Ntate Gumede.
Okay, Chair.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Chair. No, it's fine, Chair. I will just try to summarize, Chairperson, because this is a reconsideration, honourable members. So the median age of shortlisted applicants was 46 the eldest being 61 years, while the youngest is 33 years old. As expected, there is a general correlation between the age and experience. Mature applicants do often have more experience accumulated over time compared to those who recently started their careers. Hopefully, their longer work record would benefit the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombud Services, as that often translates to a deeper understanding of industry trends, honed expertise in specific areas, and a broader network of professional contacts. Furthermore, experienced personnel tend to exhibit enhanced problem-solving skills, stronger communication abilities, and a more established work ethic. The committee is mindful that the decision by the Ombud will often be subjected to legal scrutiny and judicial reviews by higher bodies, or even by the courts, if the law is deemed to have been applied incorrectly. Therefore, the office certainly requires an individual with significant experience in the legal and ADR field. Then in terms of the gender, honorable members, the cohort of shortlisted applicants was mostly women. We said it were 5. The data demonstrate that women constitute 63% of the candidates shortlisted and participated in the interview process. Figure 2 below, again, it also shows that there were 5 female and 3 female applicants and interviewees. However, only 1 female candidate was recommended, the 4th candidate. The committee believes that equal representation is at the heart of our democracy. Gender equality, according to the committee, is a fundamental human right whose accomplishment has far-reaching socio-economic consequences. The 5th SDG goal aims to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Accordingly, it is the duty of this committee and Parliament to ensure that SDG goals are met. During its discussions, the committee reflected and recognized that most female candidates had significant potential but did not perform as well as it had hoped. Therefore, it is of the collective opinion that a woman should be considered to serve as the Deputy Ombud if no woman is selected this time. We are making this recommendation, honorable members, to the Minister to say, if it happens that a male is appointed, then a female Deputy Ombud should be considered going forward. In terms of the provinces, the Eastern Cape province had the most shortlisted and interviewed applicants, with 4, followed by Gauteng with 2, followed by KZN and Limpopo with 1 each. Of the 4 candidates recommended, 2 are from Eastern Cape, 1 from each Gauteng and the Limpopo province. Then the first consideration of the committee report, that was on the 25th of April 2025. The committee met on 25 April 2025 to consider and adopt the report regarding the nomination, selection, and recommendation for appointment of the Small Enterprise Ombud Service. In that meeting, the report was adopted as a true reflection of the process by members, with the exception of Democratic Alliance, EFF, and MKP. The recommended list of candidates garnered enough support for escalation to the House. 7.1, it's the dissenting views. The DA rejected the recommended list of candidates. Then bullet point number 2, both the EFF and MKP rejected the report in its entirety. Then 7.2, like we said earlier, that the report garnered enough support to be escalated to the House. The resolution of the House now on 7.2. The report was formally tabled or presented to the House on Thursday, 5 June 2025, making it an official document. Despite there being no debate, there was, however, declarations of vote made on behalf of the Democratic Alliance.
Content advisor. I want clarity. Where you are saying, talking about the dissenting views, where you said the DA rejected the recommended list of candidates in its entirety. I want clarity there, because what I remember is that Honorable Kruka will assist. When we were voting, They said they're still going to consult with their caucus. Assist me on that one.
That's fine, Chairperson. We can correct it. This is a draft, remember. Members, if they want to amend, we can still do that. It's a draft report that we are presenting to your committee. So we can still correct that.
Madam Chair, I remember on that day, the DA didn't have a problem with the report as such, because the report was well written and it was sort of what happened from the beginning till the end. However, we reject the list. So by that time, we were already talking to our party. That was done. So we came to this committee and reject the list. So while I'm talking, can I just then ask a clarity question again?
Ask Honorable Kruger.
It say that the report had enough support to escalate to the
National Assembly.
to the National Assembly. I just want to find out how was that established that there was enough support, if I may. Thank you.
Chairperson, maybe just to clarify as well, the dissenting views now, it's not necessarily based on the committee discussions of the 25th of April. It's now based on on those discussions, Chairperson. It just that clarified me. Maybe Honorable Mafakane as well, you are here. If maybe what is being said there is not necessarily correct, it's the opportunity to correct me. But to come back on the question, Chairperson, you will recall that what happened on that day, members voted. So the majority of the members who voted on that day were in support of the report, because there was a member, Honorable Webster, who also supported the report. If you recall, even though when it was now in the House, there was then a change of I would say maybe tone or decision from Honorable Webster. But at the committee level, the majority of the members who voted on the report supported the report, hence it was escalated or it advanced to the National Assembly. I hope it answers the question, Chair.
It does answer the question. See the hands. 1, 2, 3 in that order as you're seated.
Chair, on the dissenting views, the first bulletin was that the DA rejected the recommended list of candidates, and now Honorable Kruger was saying there was no problem with the report. Is correct, isn't it? There was no problem with the report. They only rejected the list. But what I want to bring in is that if my memory serves me well, the list was according to the scores from 1 up to 4. And it was an agreement of the portfolio committee or the portfolio committee members to say, let's take 1 up to 4. All of us were agreeing, if my memory serves me well. The issue of rejection came later when we're talking about voting. But I wanted us to, that first bulletin to be written correctly. If it's not a report, it was a list of candidates, and what was the wrong with the listing, that 1 up to 4? Was there something wrong? Maybe I can't remember. If there was something wrong in 1, 2, up to 4, what is it that they are talking about? Thanks.
Honorable Kruger, you are number 4. Number 2.
Thank you very much, Chair. It's just that I went out. I'm not sure where we are, but I think
We are on page 16, 7. No, we're starting at number 7 on that paragraph, but on the second sentence, whereby it is saying, in that meeting, the report was adopted as a true reflection of the process by members, with the exception of the Democratic Alliance, Economic Freedom Fighters, and Umkondo Wesizwe. The recommended list of candidates garnered enough support for escalation to the House. Then, dissenting views. The DA rejected the recommended list of the candidates. Both the EFF and MK rejected the report entirely. So the question was, what I remember with the DA is that they did not reject. They said they are going to consult with their caucus when we were discussing.
Oh, no, Chair. What I wanted to raise something totally different. I can come back later on then. No. I'm not coming on this one.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, what is on 7.1 is a true reflection of what happened in the meeting. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kruger.
Madam Chair, I just want to refer you to page 13. The paragraph just under the names was listed on the day, if you remember correctly.
Page 13.
There we said the members of the Democratic Alliance wishes to be noted that their rights remain reserved and that the list will be recommended. Candidates will still be subject to the party. All right? So that's where you come in. But when we discussed the report, which was 2 or 3 weeks later,
Yes.
am I right? That's when we said the report, and I remember I mentioned it, I don't have a problem with the report. The report is 100%, although we reject the names of the list. That's what we said. So it's two different things. The one was the next day when we scored and everything.
April.
Yeah, that's when we said we noted that our rights remain reserved. That's what we said that day. And then when we talked about the report, I said the report was 100% because that's exactly what happened. But we reject the list. That's what we said.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, now I remember. I remember even say you allocated the marks for these candidates, but today you are rejecting them. I remember now. I saw your hand, Honorable Malimacha.
No, thanks, man. It's very dicey. Because if we don't say it, as you said, when I said don't read, you said it's not about only the committees, even for the public. I want to say, when you say the report gained enough support to can proceed to the House, it be known that we had the IFP were there, the BOSA were there, and the majority, that is majority now, in terms of the numbers, pushed the report to the House. Because somebody will say, how do you then say it can't, but when we check here, you have got DA, EFF, and Umkondo Wesizwe part. So it must be simplified to that level, so it understood to that level. Now, Comrade, Honorable, yeah, that is the problem, that the title of mine sometimes has to be that, but I apologize, especially when we, yes. Honorable Bilankulu is asking a very fundamental question that I thought the chair, you will allow that question, because the Honorable Bilankulu was very specific to say, of these names, what is it now that we are saying you are rejecting? So I thought let me come there. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Can I request a response from Honorable Kruger first?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I was wondering if you all listened to my speech in Parliament, but I can read my speech that I use in Parliament, but it's the same that I use here. We said that the process, we're not comfortable with the process because there was certain incidents that happen in the process of scoring and interviewing the candidates that we're not happy, and that's why we reject the list. And I mentioned it that day, and everybody was happy because this report was that question, for instance, wasn't asked when we did the report afterwards, because I already answered it and said, listen, this, and Honourable Singh also had a huge bite out of the uncomfortable position that the DA was at that stage with the interview process. And that's why we said, and the scoring process, and I don't want to go in there. But so we were uncomfortable, and that's why we said we're rejecting the list.
I wish that we go on to that scoring process and explain.
Do you want to?
Yes.
Yeah. Madam Chair, you will remember, and I thought I won't mention it here, but if you insist, that the chairperson score the one candidate out of, instead of out of 55, scored out of 65. And after the DA, of course, raised the problem, we looked into it, and you apologized and said you made a mistake. But even the 55 was 100%. It was not a 50 out of 55. And I'm sitting in very many interviews, and I have never seen somebody scored 100%. So that was one of our concerns, that we don't think that this person was scored correctly. And we mentioned it. I mean, that next day we had a long discussion around it. And we accept your apology, but we still question the principle that the chairperson scored one of the candidates 100%, which is not, it's not likely, but it's unlikely.
I'll allow you, ma. I'll allow you. Honorable Kruger, I want to clarify something. I've been a learner, and I was not alone in the classroom. I was with those who were very, very intelligent, those who were in the middle, and those who will keep on repeating their classes. Even when we were at the university, it happened like that. Others would fail to submit their assignments, and others would fail to submit their homework. Those who submitted will score differently, and there will be those who score total. So according to my scoring, I was looking at if you can check, he's the most candidate that I gave total. He's the most, where is that a list of the candidates where it indicates even there, okay, page 9. If you check on the candidate that I gave marks, even with experience, you know, he got his LLB in 1993, and the others, all of them are around 2000. And even the experience, the way he was responding to the questions, I heard that in the meantime, I'm even getting an education with this type of the responses. And then I ended up, because I said so, even that time when I was explaining, and you agreed to it, that is why it's not even appearing in the report. I ended up allocating the marks the way I could feel that this man is knowledgeable. And then I gave him total. When I was counting, you remember it was late in the evening. I think I was very tired. Instead of counting on the marks, I counted the blocks. And when I was writing the marks, I said, no man, the total mark cannot be 65, it's 55. I approached the content advisor there and there. Look, I'm tired and this is what I did. He said, no, there's no problem, Chair, it will be rectified. In the morning, I also did the same thing. I found the researcher allocating the marks. I said to the researcher, I had this problem. Is it corrected? It's not them who discovered that I made a mistake. It's myself. And then she said, no, don't worry, Chair. She said it is rectified and it will be rectified, as I requested. Only to find that she did not. And when I was discussing with her, she said no, she wanted to be transparent with my mistake. Well, there's no problem. The issue that I made a mistake, I counted even the blocks that did not have the marks, that one I take responsibility. But the fact that after even if you can get it to, when you write whatever exam, if you made a mistake, you cancel. I thought maybe she will say no, cancel and sign. So that whenever this thing are being questioned, it must be, we need to have that clarity. So, but she didn't. I don't have a problem with that. If ever she was trying to kill me, I understand and I agree, but my God will protect me. So, on the scoring, if ever I hear that you are saying the correct thing and you are teaching me, I will give you total. What is wrong in that? Maybe you should clarify me. But anyhow, I saw the hands this side. Honorable Sapo. Honorable Villankul, did you raise your hand?
I did, but it was after.
And then, okay, you'll be number 2. You'll be number 2, and then Carol will be number 3.
Thank you very much, Chair. One, you covered me on the issue of identifying the wrong score, because I think we must be honest when we are rectifying this thing, Honorable Kruger. It was not a Democratic Alliance identifying that the chair has made a mistake. Let's rectify that and put it aside. You know, Chair, my hand earlier on was to say, I thought the report was already tabled for discussions, because I wanted us to go back then and identify the areas where we disagree. We put them aside and we discuss them one by one. We see if we don't find understanding and consensus around them. That was going to assist us, Chair, so that we don't discuss how I feel, but we discuss what we disagree on. What is being raised by the Democratic Alliance is them feeling like it's wrong for me to give somebody 20. Because if we have to go to the total, we must go down as the 20s and the 10s that we give them. Then that will be bringing the different discussion. But if we can then go to the report, because the report was sent back to us for further discussion, at least we identify where we disagree. We put them, if there are 10, we discuss all 10 of them. We find consensus where we find consensus. We disagree where we disagree. Then we find a way forward. Because if then we will have to go back and say, by the way, initially we said we are going to take 3, but later on we decided on 4. We can discuss that. Do we want to go back, or do we still stick to the 4? I think those are the things that we must discuss, and it's okay for the Democratic Alliance to say their position was to say they still have to go back to the caucus and consult. That is what they said. It's true. And they are saying they don't have a problem with the report, but they have a problem with scoring and what. But where I have a problem, because when they say they do not have a problem with the report outlines the process. So it means they don't have a problem with the process, but they have problems with names. I'm not sure if we want to discuss the list as one by one. If that is where we have to go, then we can do that. But it will be us discussing how do they feel by each individual that is on the list. So Chair, my proposal is that the report now is here. Let's identify where we disagree and discuss that, and then have a final report if we agree, and if we don't, we find a way forward out of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sapo. If I understand you, we are putting aside, and then at the end we are going to discuss where we are not agreeing. Is what you say, Ma?
Yes, Chair, because the report was sent back to us to rediscuss or to discuss it. So if we don't agree on certain elements, let's discuss that and see if we can't find consensus. If we don't, we find a way forward outside that. But as I said, Chair, let's at least discuss the report, not how I feel about certain things. If we'll have to discuss that, we will be here until tomorrow.
Now I understand you. I wanted to understand you so that I don't get lost at the end. Honorable Bilankulu, over to you.
Thank you very much, Chair. I don't know after Honorable Sapo what she raised, whether can I wait for the table to?
Okay, I wanted the secretary to write down all the points that we are not agreeing about, so that we discuss them at the end. Thank you very much. Sorry, Honorable Bilankulu.
No, it's fine, Chair.
Sure.
I'm one person. I don't like argument. No, I was saying after Honorable Sapo said whatever she said, I don't know whether I will continue with my with the discussion that I was bringing, because my issue was the question that I raised. I felt the question is not responded to. The question was about the list of names, the 4 names. Whether the issue is that the 1, 2, 3, 4, they are wrongly placed, or they are not the way they were supposed to be, or is something else. But if it's something to debate on, then I will reserve whatever I wanted to say. Because I wanted the clarity on that one.
Thank you very much.
Did we agree
Yes.
on the 4 names and the way it has been stated?
Before we go to Honorable Carroll, I must request the Honorable Kruger, and then you'll come in. I didn't see your hand. You'll speak after Carroll.
Ma'am, if you remember correctly, in that meeting when we discussed the report, the Democratic Alliance was uncomfortable with the process of interviews, starting with the alternative member. Yes, we already talked about it. Talk about your score. There was some answers gave that we were uncomfortable. So, and this is not the place. This is not the place where we debate. Yes, but you said that and I say that. The DA said we're uncomfortable with the process, and we think it was not, and I mean, we in politics, it was a debate. We think we not the process, the whole interview process was not just about the list, it was the interview process. Because the list come out of the interview process. So we were uncomfortable with the process, the interview process. The rest, whatever happened before, we were comfortable with. It's just the interview process because of the mistakes that was made in the process. And we don't know then if anybody in the list, or number 1, number 2, number 4, is fit for purpose because we think that the interview process was not followed fairly. And that is the point.
Are you going to respond to the issue of Honorable Bilankulu?
That's what I did.
Okay, thank you.
Mention names, and I said no.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Before you come in, the content advisor wanted to say something.
No, Chair, you see, now that we are getting into the meat of the discussions, I thought maybe for the record, let me finish the report, then members can then debate or discuss it. It's a suggestion.
I want to agree with you on that one because I put a request from the beginning and all of us agreed. So we will continue. I think we're still on time. Honorable Mafagane.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'm going to, if we do that, I'll lose my train of thoughts. Chair, I just want to come in on the issue of the scoring and what happened on that day. And I just want to remind you, what happened with the scoring, yes, indeed, it was yourself who raised it. But after you raised it, the emotions went high. And then a correction was to be made. So for the content advisor or the secretary to then do the correction outside of the meeting, it would have been another can of worms that would have caused even bigger problem. So the correction of your mistake in the meeting was rightfully placed because then it was transparent. So I just wanted to remind you to say that when that mistake happened, it went high, and if it was done, it was going to then say this rectification was done in the corners. So the way things were, it was open, it was transparent, and at the end, we were fine with it to say, okay, it was resolved, we are here, we see you made a mistake, you pointed out that I made a mistake with the scoring, I scored somebody higher than I shouldn't have, and here we are rectifying it. Thanks. No, I'm finished, thank you.
Oh, you're done?
Yes.
Well, I did not want it to be rectified outside because immediately I wrote the total. I approached the content advisor. Even if we were finishing, if they would have said to me, no, this must be transparent, it must be rectified in front of the honorable members. Members were still there. We did an interview when I was still serving in the JCI, when I was the whip. When we did the mistake, yes, Honorable Sapo, I thought maybe you were talking to me. Oh, okay. Tell him that he is ready outside. Members can go and grab so that that is all. You don't provoke my member. So Honorable Mafagane, we even did that. Let me say we because it was more than one person. Wherever you made a mistake, you would take your form and request for another one. And there was no problem. But the problem with these ones, they said it will be rectified, there's no problem. So I relaxed. That is my argument. Thank you very much. Honorable Malimacha.
I think we must lobby to try and find an amicable solution. Before I speak.
No. She's out of order.
Yeah, remember, I'm a human being. She's really distracting.
No. She cannot intimidate you. I will give her a chance. Not now. I showed him by my head.
Yeah, please, man. Don't
so she
intimidate
must
me.
respect us.
No,
It's
it's
a
fine. On a
request.
lighter note. No, I say, remember all of us say we are here to find a solution to this matter after all of us, we agree that we have identified two critical steps that we think we need to speak to it. The first one, we have identified the issue of the alternate, and we have amicably solved it because we managed without slipping away from it and identified and advised the secretariats that going forward, this is what we think it has harbored this thing. And we did not intend to humiliate or to discredit any person. We have agreed that no, it was an oversight, it will never happen going forward. We came here, we identified that the chair has scored 65 instead of 55, and all of us agreed that there was an apology. No one says there was an apology and the apology was declined. Now, to prolong it further, to want to take it there, we are not doing justice to what we have said. Once I say I accept your apology, I don't need to go back and say, after sometimes you came, maybe you did something, but I say, remember there was an apology. It means that thing is buried. Now, the two incidents into the whole thing, it would have been the incident of the alternate, it would have been the incident of the scoring, which all of us were saying, no, we as a committee agreed that this is a mistake and we never proceed with excellent marks. Instead, we agreed to lower it to can meet. And here now, we are able to say all members were given fair chance to decide in terms of scoring, this can happen this way and that way, but all of them were fine. I will want to lobby those that they found the two to have been a problem. That now that this matter of the two incidents, we are in agreement that it cannot be part of problem of the report. Going forward, can we agree that now the report has been corrected and we are all in agreement with the report? So that at the end of the day, we say, National Assembly, we managed to realize where we did not see eye to eye, but we managed to correct it and we are definitely sure it was not an intentional thing. Then going forward, this is what we are doing. Because if we will want to push the issue of win and win, we might not resolve the problem. And the people who are suffering is who all of us, when we debate, claim that we are here wanting to see this ombudsman, which I was corrected by Honorable Kuruka, that is not ombudsman, it's ombud. You stop there, because if you say men, women are saying, what about us? Which, yes, then which I agreed. So I'm saying, one way or another, as a committee, without politicizing this matter, these are the things that we did not necessarily intend to do it. Can't we find each other and move? We can't be being vulnerable, come and stuck on things which is very obvious. That will be my take, Chair.
I must speak to the mic. Thank you very much, Honorable Malmacha. Researcher, it's your time.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Good morning, honorable members and colleagues. Chairperson, in the spirit of what Honorable Malimacha has said, of correcting what things that need to be corrected, I would also like that we include, because these are recorded meetings, Chairperson, I would also like to include the fact that the accusation or the statements that I am trying to kill the chairperson are not accurate. And I would like them to be withdrawn because these are recorded. I don't want to create an impression that as I'm supporting the committee, I have ulterior motives. No, I want to correct that and say that I am here to support the committee in a professional manner, Chairperson. So accusations such as sabotaging or killing, I would request that they be withdrawn. Thank you, Chairperson.
You know what she's saying. I don't want to continue to talk about it. Or should I say you lied to me by saying it will be corrected. And it was not corrected up until we go into the meeting. Should I say so?
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, I would like to confirm that you approached me before the meeting started. And when the meeting proceeded, that is when the corrections were done. Therefore, to be accused of something that was corrected, that I lied, is not correct, Chairperson. And I still maintain that words such as saying, I am killing or sabotaging, lying, they are incorrect, Chairperson. And with all due respect, I reject them and I request that they be withdrawn.
Maybe the content advisor should assist me, because immediately after I put in the marks, I came to you. You were with the researcher, unless if you did not hear that. I requested that this is the mistake that I did. And then you said it will be corrected. I shouldn't worry. Unless if you're going to change the statement now, like she's saying she did not say it. If she's saying, if she agreeing that she lied to me, it's like, I don't know how can I put it, but that's what transpired. Before we go further on her request, can I check with you?
Chairperson, it's just that I don't recall the sequencing of activities that day, but you know, I'm actually surprised, Chairperson, that you know, if members attend interviews, if you are familiar with the process of interviews, you know, such mistakes always happen. It's a normal part of the interview process that mistakes of miscalculations will happen. That's why other interviews, honorable members, will have 2 layers or 3 layers, where there will be another committee that will then go and re-look at the scoring of the candidates. It's a normal process in the interview process, in the interview. That is why, honorable members, it's not even in the report, because it's an issue that was discussed that day. It was rectified. I honestly not sure why must it be debated now, because for me, as an advisor of the committee, it's really not an issue. You know, I said elsewhere, you know, one is working in a very politically charged environment. So, you know, if you advise members of the committee, you always need to be careful that you don't struggle in their lane, you know. So sometimes there is a black line between the two. If maybe what I'm saying to members of the committee, I'm straggling the terrains, of, you know, my apologies. But honorable members, I insist, this thing of scores computation is not even in the report, because it was rectified on that same day. There was no issue with it. The only thing that I remember, in fact, Chairperson, one thing that I wanted to say earlier, that both the EFF and MAP rejected the report because there was the wording that they wanted be included in the report, which is in the order of ranking. There was that wording. That is why they decided that no, they are rejecting the report in its entirety because of that. Others wanted us to put the scores next to each candidate, but ultimately there was a view that the word in order of ranking should be included, which was not done in this report, unfortunately, which is why the members of the EFF and MKP ended up rejecting the report in its entirety. But the issue of the scores, Chairperson, I don't know. I don't know where is it taking us.
I've seen hands, and let me say, after you spoke, the problem was escalated by the honorable members when they were debating in the House that the chairperson was corrupt, and she even allocated, it's not you, Honorable Kruger, but it's not you, it's other member. I don't want to talk about names, but that happened. If you can go into the Hansard of Parliament, people will hear that the chairperson was corrupt, because instead of scoring correctly, she then gave the candidate more marks, which was not even supposed to be on the paper. That is why I tried to check with both of you, or what happened. This is what happened. So the problem is the debate in the House. That is why I allowed Honorable Kruger to talk to it, because in the House he was talking about this thing of this. It's only the lady from Bosa who said, no, I don't want to dwell in the issue of the marks, because we talked to the report in the committee and it was resolved. That one put it nicely, but the others did not. So it's good that we should rectify it and talk to it. I thought maybe you would agree that really I immediately came to you guys.
On the second, Chairperson.
No, on the first day. I came to you on the first day.
No, on the first day, Chairperson, we did not do anything on the scores were
No, it's
only
fine.
computed on the
fine.
second day.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I came to you.
Yeah.
I came to you on the immediately. I wrote that. Why did I go in the morning and check if ever that was rectified? Why did I go? I couldn't have gone. But if you deny it, it's fine. But I did come to you.
No, Chairperson, I'm not denying it. I'm not saying it did not happen, but what I'm saying is that even the report, Chairperson, it says we adjourned at 7 p.m. the previous day, then we convened on the second day where we did the discussions now of the candidates, did the computation of scores and so forth on the second day.
I've had to say, but allow me to say, I will never trust you because I came to you and then you said it will be rectified. Unfortunately, I did not check as to how is it going to be rectified. Even last time when I was talking to you through the phone, you agreed, but you said, but that is not an issue. The mistake do happen. Even in other interviews, that type of mistake do happen. Why did you say that? It's because I was asking you what happened. Thank you very much. Let's close it and allow the Honorable Malmaja to say something because I could see now that you are not remembering. I would say you forgot, but okay. Thank you very much. Let me hear the honorable members how they advise us.
Chair, I will suggest that indeed the words such as killing and lying are not well. You apologize that you did not literally mean that you will be killed by Chris. Then Honorable Mafakhan was pushing more closer to say, let's not go deeper to this way, but here's what we think we can agree on. Rather to want to accuse each other, it will not assist this committee. It will not assist this committee, and I want to beg all of us, there will be no a winner or loser here. When this issue were happening, at some stage tempers did rise up. There were issues that were mentioned about you, the chair. We were not happy. We were not happy that there's this attack and all these things, but we spoke to you to say, forgive everybody. We are saying to the member to forgive each other. Because if we are going to want to be clean and want to win, we are not doing justice to this. So this will be my appeal that let's start with the issue of apologizing. Yes, the issue of being killed, that we heard it. But I'm sorry, Honorable Carol, you mentioned a principal issue that whatever that the chair and the secretariat wanted to do outside the meeting, it was going to deepen the problem. So they were right to say, no, let's go and open it inside transparently. But what I think in future I must not do, you should have told the chair on the spot ladder to leave the chair have an impression that you have agreed. You see, you created an impression that no, we will do, she was fine. But when you bring it that side, without explaining, she took an offense. And if you are going your way to say, no, this is a mistake, but to correct it, it has to be transparently so that we now open the package. X has done this thing. Transparently, we are correcting it. We seal it. So there's no need to go beyond that. I just wanted to make that appeal, Chair.
I withdraw. Thank you very much, Dr. Malmacha. Honorable Mafagan.
Thank you, Chair. I welcome the...
Before that, I withdraw and I forgive.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
wanted to say I
Sure.
welcome the withdrawal, but can we forgive? But thank you very much for that, Chair. You are showing leadership.
Sapo?
Thank you very much, Chair. I am not going to take the meeting back to what just happened. But I think, Chair, we have to be careful on how we manage the committee meeting. You know what just happened next time will lead us to something that we cannot explain. I am glad that you just withdraw because the importance of the support team of the committee is paramount. Then, therefore, how we manage dynamics and differences, especially from your side as a chair, is very important. And equally so, Chair, I would also request that we manage how we rope them in the proceedings of the committee. Because I think if we manage that, we will be able to manage how things happen. What just happened is very unfortunate, Chair. And I think you as a person, out of it, you will really reflect on how you managed it. And you will also reflect on the emotions when you tackle some of the things. Really, it was very unpleasant, especially taking into consideration that we have those students at the back. The management of committee meeting is very important. Yes, we can pass out of it, but I will really request we manage how we draw them in, and you reflect to how you manage some of the things. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sapo. I think we can agree and continue. Okay, all right. There are two hands. Let me start with the Honorable Crook, and then you'll be the second.
Yeah, ma'am. Tend to agree with my colleague there. It's very unfortunate, and words like "I will never trust you again." I don't think. No. I'm saying what I have to say, Madam Chair, and thank you for withdrawing because that was my next sentence. However, Madam Chair, we had an opportunity to look at this report. Exactly the same report. We did discuss everything, and there was members that agree, and there was members that, for instance, the Democratic Alliance that said we agree with the report, but we don't agree with the list. Finish and clear. So, and then the report went to Parliament, and there we had a debate. All right, and we said what was on our hearts, and why are we not agreeing on the list? That's what the Democratic Alliance did in that Parliament. So I don't know why must we go back there, because it was debated. And I agree to some, I don't know, somebody said, we need to find a way forward, because we said, and I said that in Parliament, and there's, if I turn around now and say something else, I must go to Parliament and apologize, because actually then I lied in Parliament. Am I right? Because I said what I said in Parliament, and I meant it, and my position is still, or the Democratic Alliance position is still exactly the same. So we need, and I hear the excuses, and I hear what happened, and I hear, maybe, it's not that serious. But for us, it was serious. We felt uncomfortable, and that's why we said we don't agree with the list. And that's why I make a proposal again and say, listen, the process of interviewing was flawed, and I take it exactly out of my speech, was flawed, and let's sit down and say, all right, if it was flawed, then let's do the interviews over again and learn the lessons. That's why I said in the beginning, there's lessons to be learned. And make sure that at the end of the day, when we produce a list to the minister, that we all feel that it was transparent, the process was followed 100%, there's no bias or whatever we felt, and because I'm in politics, I don't have to explain myself. This is our position, and it will stay our position, that we don't agree with the list. And my proposal is, let's do the interviews over, get all 8 candidates in again. We do the interviews over. We score them correctly. There's a correct amount of members there, and we
my
follow.
apology.
It.
My
Thank you.
apology. I don't know. You are in a position where we are still going. I hear that it's okay. Are we allowed to put the proposal while we're still continuing? I thought maybe that will come after what the Honorable Sapo has suggested, that we put aside what we don't agree about and then we'll discuss it at the end. Can I request that we do that, Honorable Kruger? Okay, thank you very much, Researcher.
I would like to say that I accept the withdrawal, Chairperson. Thank you.
Ntate Kumere, if ever there is no hand, you can continue the report.
That is fine, Chairperson. Okay, so in terms of amending the report, Chairperson, you will note that, for instance, I've included bullet point number 3 under 7.1. ANC, BOSA, and IFP supported the report. I hope that will suffice. But if it's not, let me finish the report, then we'll see where we do the amendments on the report. So I'm on 7.2, honorable members, resolution of the House. The report was formally tabled to the House on Thursday, 5 June 2025, making it an official document. Despite there being no debate, there were, however, declarations of vote made on behalf of the DA, MKP, IFP, UDM, BOSA, and United Africans Transformation and African National Congress. Based on the context of declarations.
Madam Chair, you said we must, if we don't.
Oh, okay.
The Freedom Front also made a debate, a declaration.
Okay, that's fine. Freedom Front Plus.
Yeah, Freedom Front Plus, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the secretary is noting the addition and the corrections.
That's fine. Noted, honourable member.
Thank you.
Based on the context of declarations, the Deputy Chief Whip of the largest party moved that the report should be referred back to the committee for further consideration and report. The motion was agreed to. Hence, the report was returned to the committee so that outstanding concerns are addressed, feedback from the House is integrated, and contentious issues are crystallized in order to reach a consensus and enhanced recommendations. Chair, there is hand.
Honorable Kruger.
Madam Chair, it was the Deputy Chief Whip of the ANC that withdrew the report, am I right? So I just want to know that last sentence, was that her words? Because I can't remember that she said anything about it. She just said they withdraw the report. I don't think the last sentence in that paragraph was her words.
Oh, okay, it is correct. What the content advisor is saying is correct. It was not the words of the.
Yes, Chairperson. No, it's not the word of the the last sentence.
You're analyzing.
It's just the context.
Okay.
The analysis of what transpired in the
House.
National Assembly, but it's definitely not the words of the Deputy Chief Whip. No.
Okay. Let's talk to this sentence. If ever we have to rectify it, we must rectify it. The notion was agreed to, hence the report was returned to the committee so that outstanding concerns are addressed, feedback from the House is integrated, and contentious issues are crystallized in order to reach the consensus and enhance recommendations. Is there any wrong in that sentence, Honorable Kruger? Over to you.
Yes, Madam Chair, I propose that we remove hence and the rest because that's offloading. What's it in English? It's not a fact. It's the content advisor's own opinion,
Okay.
and we're working with facts here.
Oh, okay. So it will be removed. So we will let me read what we will remain with. United Democratic Movement, Build One South Africa, United Africans Transformation, and African National Congress. That one will also be added to the Freedom Front. Based on the context of declarations, the Deputy Chief Whip of the largest party moved that the report should be referred back to the committee for further consideration. Is it what you want? Okay. Are we agreeing, honorable members?
Just to include that the motion was agreed to. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
So can I continue, Chairperson, just in conclusion, because I can see in conclusion, Chair, the committee has reaffirmed its commitment to complying with the National Small Enterprise Amendment Act 102 of 2024 and relevant laws when recommending candidates for the Office of the Small Enterprise Ombuds Services. It conducted a transparent, intelligible, and public-facing process to identify an independent, qualified, and impartial ombud to protect small enterprises from unfair business practices. Throughout the nomination, recruitment, and selection process, a rigorous public consultation approach was followed. The committee would like to express its gratitude to every applicant for availing themselves to attend the interviews. The committee would like to further thank the staff members for their steadfast support behind the scenes. The report to be considered, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Content Advisor, for the report. Honorable members, we can now discuss the report deeply on what we are going to agree about or what we are not going to agree about. I am looking for the hands, honorable members. I see the hand of Honorable Kruger. You'll be the first one.
Madam Chair, I'm willing to be led by the committee. Must I repeat my proposal?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So, to start from the beginning, as I say, the Democratic Alliance was uncomfortable with the process of interviewing, and that's why we said that we are happy with the report because the report covered what happened before and after, but we reject the list. And on that base, I proposed that we do the interviews over because the rest of the process was quite in order. So we do the interviews over with the 8 candidates that was selected by the screening committee, and we make sure that all these hurdles is taken out of the way because we also said to each other we learned lessons. So let's learn the lessons. Do the it will be one day out of our lives, and then we carry on with the process. That's my proposal. Thank you, Chair.
There is the proposal of Honorable Kruger. Can I see by a show of hand? I see the Honorable Mafagani. Honorable Chris, you'll be the next after Honorable Mafagani. Over to you, ma'am.
Chairperson, Democratic Alliance wants us to re-interview just the 8 candidates that were there. I just want to find out, is there any implication of that? Is it going to be legally sound to just interview them or to reopen the whole process again? Rather open the whole process again to all South Africans to participate. So I don't know, before I agree to the re-interview of only 8. We must get a legal, maybe a legal input.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they didn't, or maybe do you have?
No, Chair. No, I was going to suggest that we may have to consult on that one, Honourable Member. We don't have an answer straight away, or we need to consult Braking, in my view. Thanks.
Yeah, I
I think
was.
we need to consult Chairperson, especially for the fact that what we had thought it would be, let me not preempt, it's easy to say we start afresh or what. So if we have to consider re-interviewing those shortlisted candidates that were shortlisted, then no, we have to consult with that one.
Okay, there is a suggestion that we re-interview the 8. I see the hand of Honorable Malemacha. Honorable Sapo, you'll be the next.
No, thank you very much. This issue of the legal matter in it, as one was to come on it, to support that. Now, the question will be, for how long can we wait? Because it's possible that we can adjourn and have a break, consult, if it's consultable, then we come and know. Then if indeed to go to the 8, it is a problem, one will say, what is a problem of getting the 4 and satisfy ourselves? Then we close the matter, because really there's no an issue. I thought here there will be an issue that can be pointed out as a Kensington show for future, that this has happened. Because we must not do something as if we don't understand these things are going to be recorded. Then we go there, it proved that there was no case. The very same committee which differed had to sit around the table and agree. Therefore, why do we want to spend the money of the parliament for something that is futile exercise? So if there's a need to satisfy ourselves, I don't think there's any legal opinion that will be required in. We get the 4, then we are in agreement that we are satisfying the same by re-interviewing them. Because we recommended them, one way or another, they are ours in terms of them to be considered. Then such mistake of wedding researcher, we outline it here that no, it's not an issue or it's an issue, then we close it. We know that around the issue of ombudsman, we have closed it. Otherwise, we are going to open ourselves to an endless process, yet we are saying people are suffering because that institution is not there. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Actually, if I listen to the Honorable Kruger, he does not have problem with the candidates. And, okay, let me put it like this. Those candidates did not commit any mistakes. It's us who were allocating the marks to those candidates. It's us who have agreed to have 4 candidates that we are going to submit for a debate in the House, and also to take those 4 candidates to the Honorable Minister. And we don't have the powers to select out of the 4. It's only in the office of our principal, whereby they can then take a decision. So if we are saying we are reopening or we are re-interviewing, it's like maybe, if I give an example on myself, it's like maybe I failed to invite on my side, and then now I think that this process, if it's open, then this person that I'm looking for might end up succeeding, of which it will be unfair for the people that we interviewed and we have scored the marks and then we put them on that order as they were appearing when we were agreeing. So I think we need to check. And the issue of Honorable Malemaja, when he's saying, indeed, always, when we do our oversight visit, we would notice that people are suffering. They need this ombudsperson. So now if we are saying we are dragging the issue, it might even end up next year. I don't know. Honorable Sapo, assist me.
No, Chair, I am not going to assist. No, Chair, I am not far from the proposal made. But my first issue was on the time frames, to check with the content advisor and the secretary, because they say they need to do the consultation. If it's something that can be done in minutes, in hours, or in days, so that we then agree into saying if it's not something that can be done now, we cannot adjourn, they go and check, or they have to go and do it after the meeting. We then agree to call just a special, even if it's a virtual special portfolio committee meeting, to get that particular feedback, and then we take it from there. But I want to align myself, Chair, to say, because the reason why earlier on I was raising something that says let's identify where we disagree. I thought in the report itself there are areas where we agree, but seemingly there are none. However, it's the procedural issues. We can interview the 4 that we already identified. It will be then up to us to say whether we stream that 4 to 3 or to 2 or whatever. Yes, it can be 1. Or if then legally it's not right, we can go to the 8. I don't think there is a problem with that. But what is important, Chair, is to check if it's possible to do that, and if it is, how soon we can do it, so that at least we can have a direction. But then the reason why I said then we call a special meeting, because if then that is not possible, we have to explore other options beyond that. That is my view, Chair. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. I think you have assisted in your articulation. What we can do now is to have a break of 5 minutes, and we request the secretary to check with the legal advisor. If ever it need time, then the secretary, after checking with the legal advisor, then will then take a resolution as what is it that you're going to do. Yes, sir.
Chairperson, just to make sure that we capture everything correctly, did Honorable Cross say 4 or 8 candidates that were shortlisted? Okay, no, it's fine. Just to make sure that we capture everything accurately. No, it's fine. We'll consult Chairperson. 5 minutes, I think, should.
Before Chair, I can motivate that in case the 8 legally we can't be talking, because the 4 we bracket them to this report, meaning that we can still liaise with them. We check it from this, what I was checking. And if you listen to me carefully, I said, as I support in case they're legal, we cannot start, but the 4 we can still deal with them. Can we go that route? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. No, don't be confused. The honorable members are suggesting, Honorable Kruka said, we can re-interview the 8 that we interviewed. And then Honorable Malemaja is saying, instead of interviewing the 8, why don't we interview the 4 that we put on the list? Because obviously experience of all those other 4 made them not to be included on the list. And then you go and check with the legal advisor. We are going to have a break of 5 minutes. They stay outside. Everybody who is in the house, you are free to participate in our table, even our student. And I really want to say they are growing. whatever mistakes that you are committing, when they grow up, they won't commit it. It's good that you're learning. On that note, you take whatever will assist the people that you're representing and even yourself, and you leave the rest in the meeting when you go out. So on that note, let's adjourn and go for a tea break, and then we request the secretary to go and check with the legal advisor. Please call him. to our agenda. I'm sure everybody managed to go out and grab something to eat, including our reverend, unless if he's praying for this process. No, they are back. We requested that they should go and check with the legal advisor if ever the aid that we want to re-interview can really materialize. So let's check if ever they managed. We want the feedback.
No, thank you, Chairperson. Honorable members, we didn't win because we didn't get a legal advisor. The legal advisor that we were working in, Telan, working with, who's got a background. Then she's in the other meeting, said she cannot take calls, and then went to the legal offices. So the one that we interacted with said, no, cannot do a legal advice, an oral one, because it doesn't have a background. So it's better that we do it in writing. And now, and the turnaround time for it's 7 days, because as she understood it, this matter consists of two issues: the HR issue as well as they look at the legality. So that's how we got that information. So now if we have to write a legal a request for a legal advice.
Okay, thank you very much. Which one are we taking? Because Telana is in the meeting and she's the one who knows the committee. If we are saying we're going to take 7 days, I think it will take us long. Maybe if we can agree that I saw the hands. Maybe I want you to talk on this one that I'm raising. If we can agree that after this meeting they'll keep on checking with Talana, and then she'll respond, and then immediately, Honourable Member, Honourable Sapo said we can even have a special meeting on virtual maybe, so that we agree. But I think the aid that Honourable Kruger suggested, I think it was going to save us time, because we can even do it in a week's time, and then we interview them, and then we continue with the process, because the office is empty now. Honourable members, as you are going to talk to the issue, please come up with solutions. Honourable Kruger?
Yeah, Madam Chair, you covered me. Yeah, and we must also remember we're waiting since June to have this meeting. So I don't think 7 days will make a huge difference. If you work it out percentage-wise, it won't make a huge difference. So, as I say, you covered me. Let's get the opinion. We do it via Zoom meeting, and we take it from there. We interview the 8, we're done, give the name through. I don't know, though, Madam Chair, the one question I have in my mind about the process. Let's say it happened, and then we interview them, we got a new list, we put it in the report. Will the report go to Parliament and we will do some debate on it again, or will it just go to, because remember everybody did a debate, so are we going to debate it? But it's in any case just a declaration, so it's 2 minutes, so that process can't be long, and we can talk to our presiding officers so to bring it to on the ICT very quickly. Thank you.
I think you're right, Honourable Kruger. We can do that. There were hands this side, Honourable Sapo. Honourable Bilankulu, did you raise your hand? No. Okay, it was Honourable Malemacha and Honourable Mafagani? Oh, you're fine. Unless if... you are naughty. Okay, Honourable Sapo.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think you covered me. I was then going to suggest that we then agree that we adjourn the meeting until that particular advice comes in. When it then comes in, we reconvene and we agree on the approach. I think I'm also sharing the same sentiment, Chair. Even if it's something that can be done over 2 days or 7 days, for me it doesn't matter because we have been waiting for quite some time. But as long as we are going to get a proper advice that is correct, because even rushing the process and only to find that we got a wrong advice might not assist us. Let us give them time to properly do that particular work, and then immediately they find out, then we reconvene. We agree on the approach. I also wanted to check then if we take that route, if this particular report it then goes out or whatever that will do, it will be an annexure on an addendum to this particular report, or we'll have to do it all over again. That is my question. But other than that, Chair, I think it will be proper that we leave everything like this for now until that time. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sapo. Honorable Malimacha, you are covered. Okay. We are agreeing that our secretariat will write a letter to the legal advisor, and then we are agreeing that we are going to interview the 8 candidates. That is our agreement. Re-interview 8 candidates. Do you have a question? Okay, it's fine. No, I saw her raising her head like she want to talk. No. Agree now. When they write a letter, they must put in our idea on the letter. Maybe I didn't put it correctly, so that they advise us through what we are requesting. If what we are requesting is not doable, then they will also tell us what to do. But they must also indicate the agency of the matter. That is long that we dragged this issue of Ombudsperson, and even ourselves are tired. We are tired. Thank you very much. 8. I think for the secretary is asking. Maybe I should put it to the honourable member. I don't want to members. I don't want to take a decision alone. I think the issue of 4 members did not carry weight, unless if it's my own thinking. Honourable Sapo.
No, thanks, Chair. No, there were 2 proposals, and I supported both of them, and I said, can then both of them be checked? We will then make a determination at that particular point.
Honourable members, I would request that we support 1 out of 2. Let's support 1. Okay. So they must put everything on the letter of 8-4.
Chair, let me not interject and say legal. When you talk of legal, they go every sentence, every word, and the meaning. We came with 4 in case they are saying, after you have done everything, you only have rights with this that you have recommended. The other 4, you can no longer call them. We said that can go and can be reported to us, because we wanted to cover, as we support the principal idea, which was to say, let's go to 8. And when MK says no, be mindful of this aspect, then we realize that we might not be still having legal leg on these other 4, but they can say, go and satisfy yourself on the 4. We said if that thing comes fine. So I will buy the idea that let's wait for legal advice. As long as you put it very nicely, as to sum up, we give go ahead of writing a letter. All of you are in agreement that we waited for a month. What is 7 days? Then we are fine with that, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, now I think I'm clear. And I'm sure the honourable members are also clear. Okay, Secretary is saying on what basis? On the basis that you check with the legal advisors if ever we can re-interview those that we interviewed. There is an idea of 8-4, but Honorable Mafagani say, let's not talk about the whole thing issues. Let's check with the legal advisor. You're saying so?
Isn't it that the secretary we can still on one-on-one advice if you don't get it clear?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You see, that's the problem, Honorable Member, with break. You know, immediately we eat, then everybody speaks. My apology. I saw your hand, ma.
Thank you very much. What I wanted to say, I'm saying, let the content advisor and the secretary take the matter of re-interviewing to legal. And then once we have the legal advice, then we are going to determine, the legal advice will be to say, are we going to be legally standing if we interview the 4, if we interview the 11, the 8, or if we restart the whole process? Because mine was to say, are we opening it up to the whole South Africa again, or are we just interviewing the candidates who are listed? So we need the clear indication. Are we not going to be in trouble if we just say we re-interview these people we've listed? Or can we then reopen it to the whole South Africa? So let's get a clear legal advice on what is the best way forward, the best for the committee, the best for the candidates as well, to cover ourselves as well. Then we move, and then once we get the best advice, then we determine how we're going to do it. Thanks.
Okay. Content advisor?
Chair, no, you know, the caveat, I think Ubra King was trying to speak to that, because there was one lady we spoke to, like, you know, but she's not the one who's assisting us, like Utelana, so she's not au fait with what is happening at the committee. But one thing that she's raising is that our legal opinion might be based starting from the declarations from the National Assembly. What was the basis of the National Assembly returning the report to the committee? That's what she's saying. But my suggestion is let's leave it at that, as Honorable Mafahan is saying. Let's go and discuss. If they really want to get to that detail, then we'll maybe communicate that with a portfolio committee, because that's what they are saying. They may need to know what were the basis of the report being referred back to the portfolio committee. But let's give them, you know, and also just to respond to Honorable Sapo, in terms of the report now, Honorable Members, we will leave it as it is, because it's still open for further discussion. And so once we know exactly what's going to happen, we will then include all those details in our report before it is being referred back to the House. So that would be the process from now on, Chairperson. Thank you.
Yeah, but I hear you, Mtata Kumede. But what we want is to speed up the process. Yeah, if you can have that in mind, then I'm fine. Thank you very much. Honorable members, we are closing the item. If ever all of us are fine. All right. Thank you very much. We are now on the last item, the item of closing remarks and adjournment. Well, I want to thank everybody who was in the meeting, who managed to attend. Yes?
Apologies, Chairperson. Oprah King is because we have not discussed the committee report.
There?
Is it not part of the agenda?
It's not part of the
That's
agenda.
fine. That's fine. No, Chair, I was saying next week there were slight changes with regards to next week's program, and members were asking in the group. I thought maybe we'll just clarify that quickly then we then adjourn the meeting, Chair. Thanks.
Which one? Are you referring to the one that was going to be disturbed by the summit?
Yes,
The
correct.
summit has been cancelled, so we continue. with our
Then to
program.
inform members what's next in the agenda next week, Bracken.
Akere, we don't discuss what is next in the agenda. We discuss it in the management committee and then we receive. So if we want to change now, and what are we changing? Because nothing is going to be changed. The summit has been cancelled. Maybe I don't understand.
No, we're not changing, Chair.
Madam Chair, just a point of order.
Honorable,
Just a point of order.
Yes.
We received information from King about the next 2 meetings. And if somebody have a problem with that, then we can talk about it. But if you read and you're happy with the program, then we go. Because next week there's two meetings left and both of them are on Zoom. Just check your email.
so I'm surprised because we never discuss what is next in the meeting. I saw the hand of Honorable Sap.
Thank you very much, Chair. I will talk simply because I am the one that asked actually about what is next on the agenda. I think, Chair, there is nothing wrong. Honorable Mrs., we can read the email. Don't worry about that.
Sorry, Honorable Sapo, you wanted to know what is next on the agenda. Is closing remarks and adjournment?
No, Chair.
On the program, she said agenda.
No, Chair. I asked because the program was interrupted and some certain items were swapped. Now, my question was, what is next on the program? What are we discussing next week? I raised that, Chair, because I made the comment on the last meeting to say let's not interrupt the program because of the invite. And there was an interruption in any way. And certain items were moved from the other dates to another dates without necessarily the consent of the committee. That is why it is important for us to know the so-called management, where are we? Because it means we are driving by them. What are we discussing next week? But the detail of how I feel about the interruption of the program and anything beyond that, I will request to put it as an item in the next agenda. But can we then be clarified what is happening next week?
Okay, thank you very much. Now I understand you. I would request that King talk to us about what is happening next week.
Thank you, Chair. As per attached updated program that was sent, we'll be considering the oversight report of the Eastern Cape. And then on the first, it will be the PIPAS.
Okay. No, thank you very much on that note.
Sorry, Chair. Then the one with the Eastern Cape report, it's also, we've invited the Department of Tourism on the Tourism Equity Fund. So those are 2 days for the meetings. Thank you, Chair.
And to have emailed the information to the honorable members. You did email in the program. Okay, no, thank you. Thank you
to
very
check,
much.
will it be physical or visual?
They are going to be virtual.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I should adjourn this meeting before we raise a new item. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.